Hello and welcome to Small Music Scene, the ultimate underground music advocate, where every week I review 10 of the finest under the radar records from across the world spanning all genres. We've got a very stacked episode today. I've got a lot to say about these records, so we're not going to waste any time and get straight to it. But before I do, this week's Small Tea of the Week is Dead Pony, one of my favourite Scottish acts at the moment. They've had a very busy few weeks or so. They've been tearing up Glastonbury and Transmit. They've found a new fan in Sam Fender of all people. Just last week they were on Radio 1 doing a live session for Jack Saunders. They've busted out a ton of great new singles this year. So it's been very busy for them. And they've done a lot in helping me with my agoraphobia recovery, mentally with their music and stuff like that. So very grateful for them. And they even have an EP coming in September, and you can bet that will get a review when that comes along. So I think they are pretty much tied with Bems as my top Scottish act one to watch at the moment. They are on a hot streak and they're only going to get hotter. So definitely check them out and check out great singles like Zero, Bullet Farm, Sharp Tongues, and other works. Anyway, on with the show. To kick us off at number 1 is Aquakultre with Don't Drip. The brainchild of acclaimed and award-winning Halifax artist Lance Sampson. This album is one of the most fruitful, stacked collaborations that you will bear witness to this year. All sparked from a simple romance tucked away in the bedroom to cushion the blow of the global pandemic. It transforms into a whole other beast entirely, where Lance enlists the help of countless folk in the same sonic wavelength as himself to create an absolutely stellar record. There is so much to unravel here, so I'll summarise the best I can, discussing some of the highlights. So the sound in general is a fresh mix-up of hip-hop, R&B, funk, acid jazz, afrobeat. There's a lot of everything, and Lance and Co squeeze the best aspect from these genres to create a damn fine concoction. And the whole production is so strong. I Can Wait is a juicy opener that fires you up instantly, and Milk and Honey afterwards is infectious as all hell. Particular shout out to Tafari Anthony, a familiar face. I'm a big fan of him, and I'm happy to see him contribute, and both songs blossom for these awesome upbeat vibes, and that's reflected in the lyrics too. Magic is bright and full of love, and you'll be irresistibly clapping along to it. It's All Good is so smooth and chill, with an extra kick courtesy of Lakita Williams' harmonies. You've got a catchy and reassuring bass boosted title song. Lunch is so cosy and intimate. After a weird hallucinogenic interlude, you've got Feats is contagious. It gets you shimming. It's also a bit of a motivational number, encouraging you to just go for it. Don't beat around the bush. Hit Woman is pure funkadelic fire, and Afrovillian funk likewise. The broadcast of On Stay and I'm For Real is sizzling too, and it all comes to an end with the blistering amped up Caramel. The ultimate team effort has resulted in a phenomenal album, one of the year's most straight up entertaining, no doubt. Don't Trip is a masterwork. Aquakultre is set to hit up the Canadian charts in the near future, I think, and I'm not complaining. It's about time that the public got a taste of the pie. They won't know what hit them. Number 2 is Terry Guy with Cloud Zero in Society. Without a doubt, one of my ultimate discoveries in 2022 up to this point. I feel a little disgusted that I wasn't aware of him earlier. But with that said, this is a supremely outstanding album, where the London queer artist rolls up the shutters and lets himself be vulnerable, taking us, the public, into the trials and tribulations of his private life. The themes are abundant, but all are tackled effectively, like the desire to escape from negativity into that positive dream that you have in your head, the sensations of growing up as an outcast, still surviving as an outcast in the present day for that matter, being isolated and cruelly shut away by the world for being different, being hurt by deceitful people you once trusted, trying so hard to spread your love to others, but often with less than stellar results, the steep fall from grace, suffering from depression due to a range of causes. There is a lot to unpack here. The bulk of these songs are these beautiful piano-based ballads with an orchestral touch through the use of enchanting strings and the like. You get several sweet acoustic sections and firm flurries of drums, and sonically there's hints of Britpop and indie seeping through too. Terry's singing is masterful, and he has an enforced hold on you. It's impossible not to give him your attention. And there's also a good number of memorable hooks that stick in your head. Incredibly deep, intimate, exclusive and exposed, this is about as personal as it gets when it comes to musical content. It's certainly the most personal release of the year in my eyes. Nothing else compares. It made a massive emotional impression on me. I cannot recommend it enough. It's a true, heart-wrenching powerhouse of an album. Number 3 is Outright with Keep Me Warm. So I've been led to believe that this hardcore group have been a focal part of the Australian national metal scene for the last decade, and that they are meant to be really, really good. Was I told the truth? The answer is an absolutely emphatic yes. Outright are bloody good, alright, and their latest album Keep You Warm is plain evidence of that fact. It comes to light as early as the opening seconds of the first track, Truth Teller, where they just explode into an infectiously fast and furious barrage which is seriously mental and spurs you into a crazed moshing frenzy. And it's more or less that condition from here on out. You get rowdy guitars, thumping rhythm sections, a multitude of unyielding breakneck blitzes throughout that basically snap the fabric of time altogether, which is where the record is at its most insane and entertaining, naturally. You get big breakdowns that are suited for headbanging, sharp lyrics, and oh my god, Jelena is a superb lead. Her vocals are formidable as all hell. There's such sheer power behind her chops, and she ticks off an altogether capable bundle. Outright are one of the best Australian metal acts I've ever had the fortune of discovering. They deserve to be even bigger, give more of an international spotlight, and Keep You Warm is a quintessential starting point for newcomers. You won't be disappointed. You're in for something truly electrifying and phenomenal. Number 4, Grave Lanes with Communion. The latest album from the self-proclaimed heavy gloom outfit from London, who somehow had stayed out of my radar for so long. Which is a real shame because, as proven by this record, these guys are banging and I had been missing out badly. They dish out some deliciously commanding and aggressive doom metal tunes peppered with a perpetual brooding hellish vibe that punch and bulldoze through you with a quaking force, complete with fearsome guitar shreds, resonating bass tones, crashing drum rattles, and these rousing, boorish vocal displays that are functioning at full capacity, peaking with some intense screams in parts. The writing is great and keeps you invested, with the main overall theme centred around the powers that be who completely hammer you and strip you down, drain you of your life's essence to make sure that you're always beneath them, to ensure that they are in control and have you in their grasp, and you're left feeling trapped and helpless and angry and frustrated. Nothing goes your way, nothing is to your liking, and it all becomes a viciously unhealthy negative spiral. Communion is a thundering work, and quite clearly, Grave Lanes are a force to be reckoned with. So if the words heavy gloom are tickling your fancy, you will get your money's worth here, I promise. Number 5 is Maypine with Even in My Dreams I Can't Find Peace. It was back in 2018 where I first stumbled upon the English outfit with their Bend Break EP, which I found to be quite solid. Then after that, they sort of fell off my radar for a while, until now where they're here with their debut full-length album, and it's proved to be nice to rekindle them because this is great. It's a batch of engaging alternative rock tunes which have a thick cloud of emo lingering in the air too, and there's a consistent dynamic pace to the whole thing. Never at any point do you find yourself bored or uninvested. The riffs, when at their peak, are a blast. The bass tones and drum beats are durable together and often shake quite hard, and the lead harmonies are really committed and are clearly spouted from the soul when at full gear. The lyrical and thematic content just leaps out the speakers. It's more on the negative side of things, the type of crippling experiences that have you falling hard and leave you regularly picking up the pieces. And the quartet look into never-ending mental torment, being overcome by regret that will never leave you, forgetting to live in the moment when you should be, shutting yourself off from the brutal harshness of reality to the point of being oblivious to the good stuff that exists in this world, and worst of all, losing a loved one. It's deep, cutting writing that only claws in and resonates further, and all the more with every listen. It is pretty potent, the main defining point of a powerfully weighty record that shows that Maypine have developed and improved well since their infancy into a firm and efficient group whose material strikes the heart and the mind in a big way. Number 6 is Manny Moura with Libra in Love. The first ever release from the fledgling production company Favourite Song Records is a new EP from the LA artist which centres around the rise and fall of a romantic relationship and the umpteen dramatic peaks and valleys that are endured along the way. Then early tracks naturally bloom with wholesomely endearing positive vibes that put a grin in your face. Next there's this edgy uncertainty where the hinges start coming loose, and then suddenly a harsh shot to the heart with the breakup, and lastly the difficulty of coping in the aftermath. There's a mixture of styles implemented here. Mainly we get to see a cool contrasting clash of orchestral music and bubbly mainstream pop. Manny is a wonderful singer, her lyrics are enjoyable, I love the choruses, and the production standards in general are quite great and admirable. A pleasing work from Manny, and I wish Favourite Song Records all the best on a hopefully successful endeavour. Number 7 is Alldeepends with Throwing a Pit to Nothing. Still relatively fresh off a successful American East Coast tour, this debut album from the Dundee Cowpunk Rockers dropped last month, and it's stonking stuff, where the tracks are flowing through at a relatively brisk pace have a wild berserk personality to them, coming mainly from the performances with compelled of gruff vocals, an energised pair of banjos and acoustics, solid electric riffs, immensely crunchy bass tones and snappy drum beats, and all of them bring a bouncing kick to the music and entertaining writing which is equally punky and humorous. It's raw, rancid and really fun. Alldeepends have amassed a fine following of fans so far, and I can imagine it's only going to get bigger from here on out. Yeehaw son. At number 8, it's Pyncher with Chew. The post-punk four-piece from Manchester haven't been around too long, but have already made a decent impact, with plenty of airplay, bagging fruitful live support slots, and so on. And here they are with their biggest undertaking yet in the form of their debut EP, and we've got a solid result here. At low tempo, their music is defined by these chilled, spectral melody flows, and there's a bit of an eerie mood that forms from that. It also includes nice calm strums and polished bass chords and beats. But when they knock up a notch, the tunes have a fun kick to them, with spurts of energy coming through the amplified riffs and intensifying rhythms. And sometimes they're even able to find a balance between the two styles. And all throughout these differing changes, the singing is on real fine form, and there's a good few catchy hooks sneaked in too. I'm really liking what I'm hearing, so a big thumbs up for Pyncher on their debut. Let's hope they can carry that momentum forward to even greater things. The promise is certainly there. Number 9 is the Wife Guys of Reddit with the Wife Guys walk into oncoming traffic. Well, there's a title for you. The Scottish ragtag have been blossoming rather nicely and consistently since their debut. A lot of folks have been taking a liking to them, and they're out with another EP here, and definitely showing improvement with each release. The writing often has amusing humour and weird quirkiness to it, but the most notable aspect here is that no two tracks are the same. Every song stands uniquely on their own, so the variety is fresh. They usually go off the beaten path and take some odd, unpredictable directions. One minute they take it slow with raw, effects-laden guitars and steady rhythmic beats, but the next they dash off in an energetic blaze that gets you in a proper buzz. And afterwards they can go at a mid-tempo for cool and addictive rocker. You get the gist. The record is a box of chocolates. You don't know what you're gonna get. And if you consider yourself a bold and brave box of chocolates connoisseur, then I'm sure your taste buds will appreciate this one. Metaphorically, of course. Music isn't edible. And finally, at number 10, we have Jack Brotherhood with Live, Laugh, Jack Brotherhood. So it was only this past November that I got acquainted with Glasgow's quintessential gay dad rock group. I was sort of aware of them before through hearsay, but I properly saw them live at Stag and Dagger, and I was hooked and I was a fan, and I've been waiting for this EP with much anticipation. And it's a good gin. With a chunk of the tunes, there's much bright pep and gusto behind the ensemble of singing. You get fetching melodies, contagious hooks, and farcical lyrics taking shot at those who just expect others to work themselves to death to earn a decent living when they've had it much easier. And there's people that spend too much atop their high horses, they yap on too much, they chuck out their opinions of bloody everything, and they make themselves the centre of attention. But there's also certain songs with a more personal touch, about feeling out of place, alienated, and even being shamed for not sticking to the perceived norm, and how that can be mentally and emotionally affecting. One half lively and endearing, one half relatable, one heartfelt. This is a great and proficient debut from the Scottish indie rockers. It makes me smile, but also gets me right in the feels, bruh. And with that, brings us to the end of another episode. So, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Go and check out all 10 acts that have been featured on the programme. Go and check out Dead Pony, of course. Go check out the Spotify playlist, Small Music Scene Volume 1, where you can listen to songs from every single record that have been featured here on the show so far. And also, any submissions, go send them to smallmusicreviews@hotmail.com. Demand is high. These are, arranged weeks in advance. So, if you want to get your records in, send them ASAP, and ideally in advance so I can slot you in. So that about does it. So this has been Small Music Scene, the ultimate underground music advocate. Cheerio.